What's up, guys? It's Bussian here, coming at you with my Gravekeeper's deck profile for GOAT format Yu-Gi-Oh! So this is the deck that I've kind of always wanted to build slash play, and hopefully I get to play it one day. That will be cool. Still haven't really found a play group to play GOAT format with. It's kind of like just through camera or preferably in person, but we'll get there one day, hopefully. So anyway, let's have a look at this. We start with 3 copies of Gravekeeper Spy, which is obviously an auto include if you're running a Gravekeeper's deck. I mean, this card is ran on its own in many other decks just to replace itself with, but that 2000 defense and the fact that you get to special summon a Gravekeeper on flip is just absolutely fantastic. It has to be 1500 or less attack from your deck. That is any and every card that is a Gravekeeper card in our deck. Our sort of main beater is Gravekeeper Spill Soldier, who has piercing, 1500 attack, 1000 defense, but we are also going to be able to beef up this bad boy. We've got 2 copies of Gravekeeper's Guard. I like the 1900 defense, to be honest with you, but it's the flip effect. Really select one monster your opponent controls and return it to the hand. It can also be very good against knock, because obviously if your opponent sees you playing Gravekeepers, they're always going to go for the face down card thinking it's Spy. Hopefully it won't be Spy and you're only using your guard to it. Another one that can be good to kind of eke out those knocks is Gravekeeper's Assailant. You can only activate the effect if you have Necro Valley out. When this card attacks, you can change the battle position of one face-up monster on your opponent's side of the field. So to ensure that we kind of have the right sort of manipulation for the Spear Soldier, we not only have Assailant, we also have 2 Tsukiyomis. They kind of both work to cater for the Spear Soldier to ensure that we can get rid of their cards in defense position and use that piercing effect as well. Tsukiyomi obviously is a spirit monster, so will jump back into our hand at the end phase, and when this card is normal summoned, flip summoned, or flipped face up, flip one face up monster on the side on the field into face down defense position. So basically it gives us kind of like this Book of Moon effect in a very limited kind of way, but again, it does allow us to have a lot of manipulation, which is good. So this is our Gravekeeper lineup. We also got 2 Tsukiyomis. I'm also running one Breaker because it is always good to have Breaker, really. Like the 1900 attack, you're probably normally going to remove a spell with it, but at least you get a body onto the field. And we are running one Sangan because it actually fits the bill of this deck perfectly. It can search for anybody except Breaker, and that is just absolutely fantastic. So this is our monster lineup. It's not huge, but it is what we need, and as long as we can open with a Spy, praise, then we should be able to go from there fairly easily. We of course are running the Trinity, Delinquent, Pot of Greed, Graceful. No specific combos with Graceful in this deck, no specific emphasis on card hand control, but we do have them here because they are very, very good indeed. Now, to beef up the main beater in our deck, which is the Spear Soldier, as I said previously, but also it could be the Assailant. We are running the 1 allowed copy of Mage Power. I think it works pretty well if you are running a field spell, because if you got the field spell out and just Mage Power in itself is an extra 1000 attack and defense, which is absolutely fantastic. Especially with Gravekeeper, Spear Soldier. God, this card becomes so good, and I think it's worth that 1 slot. I mean, you're not going to see it every game, but when you do see it, it's going to be amazing, especially, again, as I said, on that Spear Soldier. Okay, we're running Snatch Steal because we do want to run Snatch Steal. It's just such a good card. Again, I don't think there's any deck that wouldn't run it. We got 1 copy of My Body, and that's predominantly for that clutch situation when you see your opponent trying to use some nasty stuff that will get rid of that one card that you really want to keep in play. That one monster, of course. Then we got Heavy Storm, we got MST, and of course we do have the 2 allow copies of Knock. We also have the 2 Book of Moons because it's important for us to be able to not only kind of work it with my body as a shield, but potentially just give very good targets to the Spear Soldier. So it does play double duty in this deck. And then, of course, surprise, surprise, we're running 2 Terraformings and 3 Necro Valleys. So if you got a Necro Valley out with the Mage power and you got a Spear Soldier out, you're immediately looking at 3000 attack power with a piercing unit. So that is just superb. Yeah, it's a 3-card combo, of course, that can be disrupted very easily, but that's kind of like why we've got my body in there. Worst case scenario, we can Book of Moon, but hopefully we'll be able to deal with situations to also give us extra power to make sure that we can kind of keep this going. Moving on to the trap cards. Surprise, surprise, we're running 3 Solemn Judgments. That's why we're only running 1 My Body, but Solemn will basically stop anything, and we really don't want to lose the Necro Valley. So try to keep the Solemns around to save your Necro Valleys if you can, because if you lose Necro Valley, you're gonna struggle. You really want to have that Necro Valley out. That's why I'm running 2 Terraforming as well. I've seen a lot of decks running 1 Terraforming, Necroforming, and I don't know. I don't know. I don't think that's enough. We got a Mirror Force, Ring of Destruction, of course, great removals, and also to remove, we got 2 Sakuretsu Armors. That is just to make sure that we can keep our, again, our limited amount of monsters around, and we also can remove the attacking monster. And besides that, of course, we're running 2 Monster Reborns. Rite of Spirits, of course, for us, they work exactly like Monster Reborn. 3, I think, is too much, because we don't have that huge of a monster count to make it meta. Additional considerations, and I kind of wish I could run them, but maybe side deck wise, Torrential Tribute would be good, but I don't really want to lose my guys, hence why I'd rather the Sakuretsu, so I can absolutely live without them. Call of the Hunting would be good, but we already have 2 Rite of Spirits, so again, it's kind of redundant. The 2 Mystic Tomatoes would actually be really good in this deck. I just wonder what would be a good cut out for this, because it really does work well. But I just don't think there's enough for the tomatoes to bring back. I wouldn't want to bring out. I wouldn't want to bring out I wouldn't want to bring out a gosh, what am I talking about here? A spy, because you need to flip the spy. So you would have to have a Book of Moon to turn, flip her back, and then your opponent would know what it is. Yeah, it's a bit convoluted. The Spear Soldiers, if you bring them out without any protection, they're gonna die. So again, I'm not 100% big on that. The Guard, again, you want it to flip, and the Assailant only works with Necro Valley, and I don't want to throw away the Assailants. Tsukiyomi could come out, that could be good, or just bring out a Sengen, that could also be good. But I'm kind of, and hence why they're not in the deck. They're good potential options, but I think we're covering a lot of these avenues already in some other ways. So I hope you've enjoyed this little deck profile, and I hope I gave you a good enough reasoning why I'm running each card as is. I'm really looking forward to test this deck out in more detail, but up until then, this is it. Thanks for subbing. If you haven't yet, leave a like and also leave a comment below. Hop on to next time, but signing out. Peace.